Hello, everybody. It's me, Ross, and welcome to the League One Lowdown, where I speak to fans, podcasters, journalists from each League One club to get their thoughts on the coming season. Today, I'm joined by George from the Wycombe Way podcast. George, thank you very much for joining me. First of all, give us the lowdown on the Wycombe Way, the history of that, and yourself as a Wycombe supporter.
Well, thanks for having me, first of all. I've been doing the Wycombe Way on Twitter for the last 5 or 6 years. Started it in 2016, and there weren't many Wycombe fan accounts on Twitter at the time, so I thought I'd be the first one. And a few joined the bandwagon now. I've had a season ticket for 6 or 7 years, home and away for a couple of years now. And then, it's something that I enjoy doing just on the side of everything else. It's growing in popularity all the time.
Well, that's good to hear. And of course, Wycombe were in the Championship last year. Unfortunately, of course, relegation back to League One. Let's get into the transfer window. You know, as of this recording, we've still got a month left of the window. But what's your thoughts so far on the incomings? And also mention some of the players who's also left the club as well.
In terms of incomings, I think it's been slow. It always is for us. Just the two notable signings so far of Josh Scowen and Sully Kakai. But both of those are top League One players. So I'm sure they'll add a lot to the squad. But I think for Wycombe themselves, it's been a bit of a tricky summer to sort of organise for and prepare for. Obviously, not knowing what league we were going to be in the first place. With the Derby situation, that was a real bump in the road. But sort of now we can crack on and see where we're going to be next season. It's given us a platform to build on. Coming down from the Championship without the mass exodus is obviously difficult as well. Not a lot of money to spend to try and get back up there. It's always a patient process, but I think we've started off quite well. Most of our best business tends to happen later in the window anyway. So I'm sure when we'll see the loan signings come in, and Gareth Ainsworth will work his magic as always to bring in some players that hopefully get us back up to the Championship at the first time of asking.
As an outsider, I'll have to say Gareth Ainsworth, probably the coolest manager, the rock star manager. Of course, he's in a band, isn't he? So I'm sure he'll work his magic. For yourself, what's the player to watch? You know, when Town play Wycombe, I think it's in September, the first week of September or something like that. So which player should we watch out for? Do you reckon, as you said, May loan signings and other signings could be coming out? Do you think we'll have to wait and see on that?
I think there's a lot still to come from Wycombe in the transfer window. I don't think we're anywhere near done. In terms of the players we've got with us now, obviously I'm excited to see Kakai, what he can do. But obviously Anis Mehmeti as well came to the light last season in the Championship. He signed him from the 9th tier or something. He was in the Norwich Academy. He came over to us at the start of the season last year and really broke into the first team. And it was a revelation, you know, someone we haven't seen in Wycombe colours for a while. A really skillful, talented youngster who can take on defenders. So hopefully he did it in the Championship, stepping down the division into League One. I'm hoping that he can replicate the form he showed in the latter stages of last season.
And of course, I got to mention, you know, Akinfenwa. Also, Matt Bloomfield, of course, previously at Town, he made one appearance, and of course, he's a club legend for you guys. He's 37. Akinfenwa's 39. Do you reckon they'll play a lot of games, or do you think there'll be more of the behind-the-scenes sort of thing? They'll play games here and there, but be good players in the dressing room for you guys.
I think Akinfenwa will play more than Bloomfield. Last season Bloomfield took on more of a coaching role. I assume he'll take on that role again this season. And Akinfenwa, again, everyone knows it's his last dance. He's not going to play after this season. He's made that very, very clear. So I'm hoping for his sake he'll get a few games and score a few goals. And hoping as well that at the end of the season we've got something to celebrate for him and obviously for Bloomfield, because I've got a gut feeling that maybe his last season in football as well, last year of his contract. With the coaching role up for grabs for him, I don't think we'll see much more of him in a Wycombe kit.
Now, it can be sometimes too early. You know, as a recording, the 21st of July, we're doing this. It is going to be, it's harder to predict, but as it stands, and for yourself going into the season, and we're speaking off air, about it's such an open league this year, so much transfer business being made from all clubs, so it is going to be difficult to predict. But for yourself at the moment, your gut feeling at the moment for Wycombe?
I'm hoping for playoffs. Obviously, it was a shock promotion a couple of years ago, and we were tipped to go back down. So obviously coming down from the Championship now, it's sort of, do we aim high or do we aim for the sort of mid-table just to get back on a level playing field with everyone else? It's a tricky one. Obviously we're hoping for playoffs, but with the strength of the league this year and the way it's shaping up, we've had some big signings in League One yesterday and today. Obviously, MK Dons doing some great business. Wigan as well, who were down the bottom last season. There's been a lot of good business. So I'm hoping that Wycombe can sort of compete as we did a couple of years ago. I don't think it'll be anywhere near as good. Anywhere in the sort of top 3, top 4 will be some achievement. But I'm hoping we'll sort of nip in the playoffs at the last minute. That's me being realistic without knowing the full extent of our transfer business. So I'm hoping playoffs at the very least for us.
I know some Town fans. I think there's a little bit of rivalry going on with Wycombe. I think because we were a little bit annoyed and a bit, Wycombe were being jammy. They got in the playoffs and then got promoted. What's your feelings, against Town? September will be the game. We'll play Wycombe. How do you reckon that will go?
I'm hoping for a good game. I mean, the games we had in League One a couple of years ago were fantastic. Obviously, the game at Europex on a Tuesday night, a Gavin Wood masterclass. Had his Wycombe kit on underneath. I'm sure everyone remembers. The disallowed Ipswich goal and our penalty right at the end. And also the game at our place on the Sky cameras was a real thriller as well. I'm hoping for more of the same. I enjoyed the trip to Portland Road a couple of years ago. Great stadium for League One football. I think this year, rather than sharing the points, hoping that Wycombe can take all 6.
Well, we'll wait and see on that. And let's talk about Ipswich Town business so far. I'm asking this to all the League One fans and stuff like that on that. We're making a lot of strides. We've got new owners, American owners. They're ambitious. The Ed Sheeran sponsorship as well. That's another massive thing. What's your feelings from an outsider's point of view? What do you think of Town's business so far?
I mean, straight off the bat, just by having Paul Cook in the dugout, I think you've got more of a chance. Obviously, Paul Lambert's been there. He's won some things in the past, but I think Paul Cook he knows how to get out of League One. I think immediately that's a real step forward for you from where you were either last season or the season before. And in terms of the signing, Scott Fraser's watching League One out of sort of from the Championship last season. I didn't see too much of him, but heard that he was one of the leading midfielders. So he looks like a really good bit of business for you. Obviously, Rakeem Harper, although not much, he has got Premier League experience. He should be a good player for you. He's got a number of years to go into his potential. Joe Pigott needs no introduction. He's done it at League One level before. I'm sure he'll do it for you. Sort of the striker that Paul Cook really likes. He had Oliver Hawkins at Portsmouth, big target man, big aggressive. I'm sure he'll score goals for you. And obviously Macaulay Bonne as well, similar sort of striker. Quite tall, a presence in the box, and I'm sure them two together, if you can get them firing, will score buckets of goals.
And then finally, really, as we said, this is such an open league this year. Probably they say the Championship, it's hard to get out of the Championship, but League One is becoming Championship 2.0. Who do you reckon will be up there in the mix, or is it just so hard to decide at the moment?
I mean, if we're going off of last season, I expect Lincoln to be up there fighting. I think after sort of the playoff campaign now want revenge. Obviously, yourselves and Sunderland should be higher than League One, really, if we're being honest. So I'm sure that after a couple of years away, you'll both want to be back up there. But then again, it's the same for Sheffield Wednesday, Wycombe, Rotherham. We all want to be back up in the Championship as soon as possible. So yeah, it's a really open league, and some of the clubs that perhaps struggled last season. MK Dons had a decent season, but not a great one. Gillingham as well. Wigan were down there and struggling, and they've done some incredible business so far. So Charlie Work should score loads of goals. So it's really anyone's league at this moment in time. I'm sure 5 or 6 games in at the end of the transfer window will have a clearer picture. But as for now, I'm keeping my predictions realistic, hoping that Wycombe can compete at the right end of the table. But yeah, I really cannot say who's going to be up there. I'm sure it'll go down to the wire.
Yeah, I think it will be. It's going to be a very exciting season ahead, and fans are back in the ground. George, thank you very much for joining me. It's been a pleasure to have you on, my friend.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Pleasure as always.
Well, I hope everybody's enjoyed watching. Wycombe fans, Town fans, let us know in the comments down below. And I'll be back for another edition of League One Lowdown very soon. Bye for now.